How do I even start this? What's up, everybody? I'm gonna keep the hood up because my hair looks kind of weird. I just woke up. I kind of got the beaver thing going. I'm gonna try to keep this video as raw as possible. This is a video that I'm really scared of making. I've seen a lot of fitness transformations on YouTube that are like 4-minute epic montages that show how getting strong cured your depression and fixed everything that's wrong in your life, and how it was this all or nothing switch that just happened and made you happy. And that's not my story. Lifting was a hobby for me the same way running was a hobby. And I just like to really commit to the hobbies that I push myself in. Like, I am kind of neurotic like that. There's a lot that I want to say in this video that makes it crystal clear why everything happened for me the way that it did. As a kid, I was not coordinated. I did a lot of sports. I did soccer and I was pretty okay. Basketball, I sucked. I was a smart kid. I was in my like AP classes. That's where my focus was. And that's okay. That's so fine. Like, I didn't have any insecurities about that. I mean, I had some insecurities about that, but I was a happy person. Like, I was comfortable in my skin and I didn't need people to think I was super athletic. I didn't really care. If we're talking about my fitness journey, we gotta start way back. It didn't start here. The transformation started all the way back here. Before I ever touched a dumbbell, I was a runner, and a damn good runner, and I love running. Running is still one of my favorite things to do. In middle school, I joined track. I liked getting better, I liked pushing myself. Spring track went really well for me, and I decided I was going to do cross country in the fall instead of soccer. This is like show and tell right now. Lynn Adams 5K, first place, male 13 and under. So I thought it was pretty fast. Fast forward to high school, I was not fast. In high school cross country, I started off running a 5K in over 30 minutes, which isn't that bad, to be honest. That's 3 miles in 30 minutes. That's 10 minutes a mile. For a kid, for a short 14-year-old kid, that's fine. By the end of freshman year, I was running a 23-minute. That did not just happen. I ran every single day because I loved running and I loved getting better, and I hate to lose, and I'm really competitive. So my freshman year, I made sectionals and I was super stoked to represent the team, and we were ass. We were so bad. We got last at sectionals. We kind of held down every position in last my freshman year. It was painful. Okay, fast forward to winter track. My best friend, he was doing everything with me, joins winter track. And he did winter track in middle school, and I knew exactly how fast he was. Pretty fast, but we were around the same, so I wasn't like super stressed. I thought it would be good competition. He comes in and runs faster than every person on the team by me in the mile. He runs almost a minute and a half faster than me in the mile. And I'm like, what? I don't know how he did it. I guess he trained every single day, but it was not what I was expecting at all. I really hated to lose to him, and he was so humble about it. I couldn't even be mad at him because he was just so much better. He really set a high bar for me, and he made me want to push myself. I got better. I tried a lot. By the end of spring of my freshman year of track, I was doing pretty well. The summer from freshman to sophomore year of high school, I was running every single day. I was running a 5K every few days to see how much faster I got, and I thought that was my obligation to the team because I knew I was already top 7, so I would be more of a leader this year. The freshman class came in, and they were amazing. These kids were running times that I wasn't even sure were humanly possible. 19-minute, 18-minute, 17-minute 5Ks. And now I was back to almost 7th again, even with the seniors gone. Talk about humbling. I mean, I was pissed. These kids were all really talented, and I found out a few years later that they had been training when they were 11. One of the kids' dads was a really big track guy, and he would have them run grueling workouts as kids to get them to this elite level. I didn't know that at the time, though. I thought they just had natural ability and I sucked. Sophomore year, my 5K got down to the low 20s. I was really pushing it. In the beginning of winter track, my sophomore year, I got my first medal, and I was sick. And I ran 2:30. That really showed how sophomore year was going to go for me. My coach demanded excellence, and I really appreciated that. I really liked being treated like I was always trying to look for the best in myself, because I was always striving to be the best, and she held everyone to that standard. Don't waste her time. You know, if you're going to be on this team, you got to be putting in all the effort. My coach was the toughest person I've ever met. Track workouts, no matter how long they were, we always ended with a sprint, a timed sprint. She was big about that. She was always saying about giving 100% even when you were exhausted. Some of my track meets, I would have to run the 2 mile, the 1 mile, and the 4x half mile, all back to back to back. So by the time you get to that third event, you're not going to do well. You're not going to do anywhere near what you think you can, but you need to do your best because there are 3 other people in that relay who want to win, and that's the mindset that she had us prepare for. So sophomore year went really well, pushing myself really hard because I had all this good competition. I was trying to prove to my coach that I could be one of these top guys. I was trying to prove to myself I could be one of these top guys. So I wanted to get faster, and I went to YouTube. I started watching videos by Ryan Trahan and FlowTrack and Zach Levitt and all these people that were better than me. I feel that if you want to get better at something, you need to look at the people who are better than you and take their advice. I did the same thing for lifting. I would watch videos of Larry Wheels and Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall and see how they were training lifting, and then I would replicate those workouts very scaled down for my own abilities. I would watch FlowTrack, which had videos of the fastest runners in the country. These videos taught me how to train. Started doing some weight training. By weights, that was like sets of 15 reps or 20 reps with really light weight to kind of build that muscle endurance. I wasn't lifting the way I am now. Junior year cross country was such a life-changing time for me. I thought I was going to be the man. I was going to be the leader. And Paul joined. Paul was so much faster than me. I got really nervous when he said he was going to quit soccer to start doing cross country. My big goal, though, was leagues. Our league meet was against all the teams in our division. The top 14 got a plaque, and that was my goal for so long. I broke 20 early on in the 5K, and that was a big deal for me. Okay, fast forward to the league meet. We're running. I feel really good. I'm a mile and a half in. I'm in like 20th place, but I feel really confident that I can start pushing, and I have a lot left in the tank. Then I get to Paul, and he's dying, and he never dies. I'm running up alongside him, and I'm like, "You're doing good, bro." And I tap him, and I run past him, and I just didn't slow down. I just kept going. So we're going down a final stretch, and I'm behind 2 guys. I overheard a guy in the crowd saying, "You're in 14th place." And I got so stoked. I'm already in plaque distance. So I sprinted past these last 2 guys in my last stretch and came through in a time that I was not believing. 18:25. And the craziest thing about that time is not only was it the first time I broke 19 minutes, but it got me 14th place. I misheard the guy. The guy said, "You're in 14th" to the dude 2 steps ahead of me. I was in 16th. If I didn't kick right there, I wouldn't have gotten 18:25. I wouldn't have gotten my plaque, and I wouldn't have made that huge statement to myself and to my team that I was able to do this. It really set the tone for the rest of my track career and my cross-country career. I was one of the leading guys in counties and sectionals that season, and it really propelled me to everything else that happened. Winter track went really well. I started medaling pretty consistently. My mile got down to the low 5s. My 2 mile got down to the low 11s. And by the time spring track hit, I was running an 800 and 214, which isn't amazing, but I was a slow twitch guy. I was always one of those guys who could run long distance really well, but the shorter it went, the shittier I got. Like, I couldn't sprint, I couldn't jump. I'm not one of those guys. Okay, so going into senior year, I wanted to break 17:30 in the 5K, 5 minutes in the mile, finally, 2:10 and a half mile. Those were my 3 goals that I kind of laid out and that I thought would get me to be able to run at a collegiate level. Really early in the season, my 5K went to 17:46. It was a really good sign. That's my PR because of what happened next. So in cross country, it's all about knowing when to peak. You can't just consistently get better, right? Like, you can train for a few months at a time, but you can't just keep getting better week by week by week by week. Eventually, you need to know when to do an intense effort for your time. So I knew my schedule the entire season. My plan was to peak at counties. Counties was at our home course. I've ran on this course 1,000 times. It's a beautiful place. It's really flat, and it's so easy to run on. It's so easy to run fast on. I've had my fastest workouts at this course, and I really thought I could run like a 17:15. And with the competition, with so many fast guys around me, I knew it would really motivate me to really push myself and go crazy fast. The week before counties, we did starts over and over and over again. My coach was really worried that since there were 250 people filing into a very narrow 3-person wide chute, that we would get stuck behind people who were slower than us. The thing is, I can't sprint, so I practiced it, but when it came time for counties, I got boxed in immediately. I sprinted really fast in the beginning and I got boxed in. It's like they're in front of you, they're behind you, they're beside you, they're everywhere. And I couldn't see my own course. I couldn't see where the steps ahead of me were going at all. At the half-mile mark, there's a little dip that goes like this right into an uphill. So there's like a real sharp thing that you have to step over. But since there are so many guys around me, I can't see it, and I trip and sprain my ankle. In the moment, it really hurt, but I was immediately back on my feet. Like, I didn't even notice it happened because the adrenaline was just kind of pushing, and I was like, damn, that was stupid of me, but let's just go. So I ran the whole rest of the race. Honestly, after about a minute, I didn't even feel it anymore. I didn't feel my ankle at all anymore. At the end of the race, as soon as I crossed the line, I just collapsed. My ankle hurt so bad as soon as I stopped trying and actually let the pain sink in. I ended up running 18:09. To do that on a sprained ankle, I mean, I could have been so much faster, you know, but that was my last race in cross country because I had to go straight into recovery. But it really sucks because that was the last chance I had to prove to colleges that I could run. A 17:46 is not good enough to run in most colleges. It's potentially a D2 time, but not really. It wasn't my best, and that was the biggest thing to me is I trained 4 years to give my best and be my fastest, and I couldn't do that. So it really messed me up. That winter break, I did a lot of reevaluating. I always wanted to be a runner in college, but that's when I realized I didn't anymore. I didn't want to be doing the same 2 to 3 hours of running a day, not being able to eat, not being able to do other things that I would have liked that I prioritized running over. I was just kind of getting tired of doing the same old thing. That whole winter break, I got really into lifting. I started watching all these videos on YouTube, Athlean X, Steve Cook, Austin Dunham. I mean, everything. I was learning how to get stronger because in my head, I had already mentally committed that once I was done running, I'm going to start lifting. It was really weird for me because I kind of made this mental click that I always expected that one day I would look like a superhero. That was my motivation, my goal, I guess. And it was just a matter of when I was going to put that work into myself to really commit to doing it. And for a while, I thought that was like way in the future, but with my ankle hurt and me realizing that I might not be running in college, I figured, what if I just did it? But this whole time, I was really torn because I wanted to finish out track as best as I could. You know, I committed 3.5 years to becoming the fastest person I could, and I didn't want to give up on my goals just yet. I didn't want to, you know, leave my team out to dry. I was content finishing out high school looking the way I did. So winter track starts, and I'm still riding this big high from cross country because I know that even though my ankle sucks, I'm in good enough shape to break 5 in the mile. I spent 2 weeks straight not running at all to let my ankle heal. 2 weeks of light training to just see how much pressure I could put on my ankle. And then I ran in the first meet of the season. Like, I was ready to go. And in the first meet of the season, I broke 5 minutes, but it hurt my ankle. I came back too fast, and I had to go back into recovery again. Honestly, I didn't really care. I broke 5. That's all I wanted for so long. I was just glad to get that check off my bucket list. I went into my recovery and then 800 training because that was the last thing left. Like I said before, I was a very slow twitch guy, and for sprints, you need fast twitch fibers. So instead of doing weights with like 15 reps, 20 reps, I started doing weights with like 8 to 12 reps to really kind of build up some more strength. My 400 got down to 57. For a slow twitch 5K guy, that was really cool for me. That was way faster than I ever thought I'd be able to do, and it propelled me to a really fast 800. So spring track, I am putting in day after day after day of work, sprinting and training and trying to get as fast as I can. So much other stuff is going on in my life. Senior year of high school is ridiculous. Really getting stressed that I'm not like living up to my potential. There's just so much going on in my head, and all I want to do is break 2:10.5 mile. Winter track, spring track, getting faster, slowly running 2:14 and then 2:12. I'm getting closer, but there's less and less meets in the season, so I'm really stressing out that I'm not going to do this.
Set for the second section of the 800 here.
Four sections in the boys 800, followed by 3 in the girls 800.
Big lead for the leader.
And then 210.9. The last meet of the season is state qualifiers. For state qualifiers, the same 4 guys, myself included, qualified for the 4x8 and the 4x4. And we're only going to run one because the goal was to just run one fast. And we have a pretty good squad of mid-distance runners at this point. The other 3 guys really wanted to run the 4, and I convinced them to run the 4x8 because I really just kind of said how much it would mean to me. I thought we could do the best in that, but mostly I wanted to prove to myself I could run under 210. And they were such good guys about it. They let us do that because they knew that they didn't want to run a half mile, but they knew that like I really did. The gun goes off. Paul starts off. He's doing really well. He was always our lead guy in the relay. And then I don't know what happened, but halfway through he starts falling behind and he comes through in last place. I'm second leg. I feel so good. I feel so ready to go. I'm ready to make up for any of the time we missed. And in my head, I know this is the last race I'm going to ever run. I want to run like I'm never going to run again. So I start sprinting like as hard as I can. I catch the guy who had just passed Paul. By the time I got into my last stretch, I just saw guys around me and I made up a few spots. And I knew that when I handed it off, that was it, and I'll be okay with it. I go to the sideline and I collapse. My coach comes over and I'm like, how fast did I run? And she said 209. That 209 was the single happiest moment of my life. I've never been so vindicated. I was sprinting a half mile the entire time. It was such a perfect moment to end my career as a runner. Our 4x8 did really well that year. You know, I came in as a really bad freshman, become a senior captain in all 3, cross country, winter, and outdoor track. It was really cool for me to just be a part of his team that got so much better. I think back to my freshman year of cross country when I was on the worst team in the section, and I was like the worst guy on the worst team in the section. And then my senior year, I'm the second fastest guy on a team that is doing consistently really well in sectionals and counties, and we have 7 guys under 20 when the first time around we didn't have a single guy under 20. I'm incredibly grateful for everything I learned from it. The day after my last meet, I went to the gym and I figured, okay, now how much better can I get at this? Okay, I'm back. I showered, I changed. I think that this shirt is better anyway because I'm going into the college portion of my fitness progress, I guess. I don't know. So as soon as I was done running, I went to lift the very next day and I benched and I could not get 135 pounds up. I tried it and it fell on my chest and it was so embarrassing. There was no one there, thank God, but I just kind of like wriggled with it and pushed it off. I said I can't do 1 plate on each side for 1 rep today. So one day I want to be able to do 1 rep of 2 plates on each side, so 225 pounds. That is a goal that I am still working towards and I've gotten close. As of today, my bench PR is 215, but I'm going to tell you the progress. So that first summer, I ate so much. I did weight training every day. I wasn't taking many days off because it was the summer and I had so much free time. I went from 150 pounds to 165 because I just wanted to gain weight. I didn't really care about running. I knew I was in really good cardiovascular shape. Going into college, you couldn't really see that much progress. I definitely was stronger. I was doing the standard push, pull legs every 3 days. So chest and back and legs. In college, everything was kind of normal for me. I went back to running and lifting. I didn't want to just be someone who lifted. Then in the first few months of college at the gym, I started seeing these flyers for personal training classes. Basically, it was a workshop you could take at AU that would teach you everything you needed to know to become a personal trainer. And I thought that was really cool. I became a personal trainer for my own interest. I wanted to train myself as best as I could. I didn't have any intention to help anybody else. So first semester freshman year, I took the entire personal training workshop. It was about 8 weeks. I learned a lot of cool things about how to train the body and become stronger and faster and how to train appropriately and take recovery time that you needed. And I saw a lot of progress that first semester freshman year. Using those skills really helped me get a lot stronger and a lot faster. The guy who taught the workshop encouraged me to do a push-pull competition, and I thought it was really fun, so I decided to try it with like a very low bar for myself. I got last or close to last, I don't even remember, but it was fun. It was a cool competitive atmosphere. So after 8 weeks of studying for the personal training exam, I did not take it because I took a practice and I failed by like 2 points, and I didn't feel comfortable enough to take the test, which cost $500, and succeed when I wasn't even becoming a trainer. I didn't really want to. I just needed to learn for myself. So I didn't take the test because I didn't need to. That whole next semester, January to May of my freshman year, I trained with the personal training knowledge and I saw a bunch of improvements. It's really hard for me to train at school, kind of always like the best I can do given I'm managing classes and I'm managing work and my friends and everything else. So I didn't really have any like big goals. I was just trying to stay healthy and maintain what I had. But that summer, from freshman to sophomore year, I started going to a gym with my friend Brandon, like 2 hours a day. We were just grinding, and we saw like a lot of big improvements.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, shoot.
So going into my sophomore year of college, I was broke and I needed money, and I thought that, what would be a really good job for me right now is to become a personal trainer. So I had to relearn the entire curriculum in addition to my class load and a bunch of other things I was doing. And I took the test in December of 2019 and passed and became a personal trainer. Ooh, officially. Yeah. Around this time, I also did the second push-pull competition, which went really well. Pause benched 200 and deadlifted 350, I think, which shows the progress I made in a year. January of 2020, I became a personal trainer and I started working for my gym at American University. I spent 2 months learning so much about how to train people, how to become a personable trainer who can motivate clients and show them exactly what they need to do, because everybody's at a different level, starting in a different background. I had 6 clients that I was working through regularly. I learned how to file all this stuff, and all of the basics of becoming a personal trainer I learned in the beginning of 2020. Fast forward to spring break, I'm on top of the world. I'm in Puerto Rico with my friends, and COVID actually hits and shuts down AU. I went straight home after that, could not back to DC like I wanted. So personal training went online. I really liked my job and I was doing a really good job at it. I thought personal trainer of the semester. All of the clients that I thought I would be seeing in March, I just did not see again. And it was a bummer that I couldn't do that anymore. On the bright side, it introduced me to online training. My boss sends me all these video ideas she wants me to be doing for clients, and I started filming myself working out, and I realized that I looked a lot better than I thought. And I started doing really hard workouts that I hadn't even been able to do weeks or months ago. So I figured if I'm filming workouts already, why not film them for YouTube? My first workout was me doing a few muscle ups, and I was like, yeah, this could work. This could actually work. The summer of 2020 was pretty big for me. I moved back to DC so I could be with my friends, and I also became a certified nutrition coach. As a personal trainer, we aren't allowed to talk about nutrition because that's not our realm of expertise. And it kind of sucks because as a personal trainer, you know a lot of stuff about nutrition that can help people, but legally I couldn't say anything to my clients who were asking me for advice about how to eat. So during the summer, I studied to become a nutrition coach. I started studying in May and June, and I passed at the end of August, which was really cool. Same company, National Academy of Sports Medicine. Yeah, during COVID, I started training like crazy because now I was training really hard and eating perfectly. It was really, really cool to see how quickly changing my diet helped me get just in crazy good shape. Now I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm helping motivate other people. Fall of 2020, I am a trainer and nutrition coach working on YouTube, training all the time to make these good videos. None of you are going to look exactly like me, and that's okay. I want to clarify a few of the things that I know are misconceptions. Genetics. Genetically, I have a bunch of factors that make me look a lot healthier and fitter than I actually am. My chest is huge, and you might have noticed this in a few of the pictures, but there's actually a giant bone growth in my chest that makes me look way more jacked than I actually am. Yeah, that's a bone. That's not supposed to be there. As a kid, it was really noticeable, actually. I wouldn't say I was bullied because of it, but it made me feel kind of weird. One time a kid punched me in the chest and he sprained his finger. It's weird to see the things that you're not super proud of as a kid actually helping you a lot when you get older. Okay, also I have pretty broad shoulders. Even when I was a runner, you could kind of see that my shoulders were kind of wide out, and that helps me, look bigger. You're not going to see your shoulders kind of grow out laterally the more you train. It's more just how your skeleton is, how your structure and your frame are built up to be. And that's genetic. I mean, if you've seen my dad, he is a tank, and that kind of just happened. I also have a pretty thin waist, and that is not necessarily a thing guys want, but it makes my upper body look a lot bigger. So as long as I'm like constantly training my core and making sure that my abs and my lower back are like strong enough to be able to do things, it is a genetic factor that helps me. Socioeconomic factors, I have not needed to struggle for a whole lot. And that's a big, big thing in this. That first summer of training, when I was trying to gain weight, it is expensive to eat 3,500 calories a day. And I really needed to do that to gain weight. There isn't really another way to gain weight properly. You could eat 3,500 calories a day at McDonald's, but it's not going to be the same than to bulk with good sources of food. That's a luxury I have. Other luxuries I have are a gym membership. I'm able to use weight training and use resistance training. And I'm a big fan of body weight training. Like, I really do think all you need is your body weight to get into good shape. Something like a gym membership is something you can't just replicate on your own without any money, Motivating factors. As a personal trainer, I have been working out relentlessly. When I'm training clients, I need to constantly be motivating them to finish their workouts. As soon as I started doing that and realizing that other people rely on me to be motivated, I have been motivated tenfold, because if I can't do it for myself, I'm letting them down. And that's like a thing that's been just in my head for a year at this point. So if you're not working out with that motivation in mind, then like that's another reason why I just work that much harder. It's nothing against you. That's just something that's constantly motivating me to put in that extra effort. One more thing. I do not look like this all the time. I mean, you can see right now I look kind of skinny. Like it doesn't translate, These are thumbnails. The shot is taken when it's mid-workout. My muscles are pumped and I look as good as I can, and it's a specific angle with lighting, and it only lasts for a few minutes at a time. Honestly, that's the secret to all fitness YouTubers. Like, no one looks as good as they do in their pictures. It kind of sucks because I don't want to be making clickbaity titles or thumbnails or anything like that, but I'm trying to get views to teach people how to actually be healthy. One more thing I want to say really quickly is I feel super uncomfortable with praise. I really don't love it when everyone talks about how jacked I am. In college, my training has kind of defined me. I never wanted to be the guy to make people feel bad about themselves for not being in as good shape as I am. Lifting was a hobby for me, the same way running was a hobby for me. When I pick up hobbies, I become obsessed and compulsive and a little disordered. It was really something that I did to see if I could, and with consistency, anything will come in time. I hope this video motivated you. I was one of the least athletic, least coordinated kids. So if you're a kid right now, like, the sky's the limit. Nothing is predetermined. You can choose whatever you want to do with yourself and with your body, even if you're an adult or a senior or a disabled person. I mean, there are so many gifted people out there who are constantly shattering expectations and pushing the boundaries of what we all think is possible. This video was fun to make. It wasn't as scary as I thought, turns out. I hope this gave you some more perspective. Again, I am not the best, fittest guy out there. I've just been training for a really long time, guys. I genuinely believe 100% that anyone can do what I've done. I'm not special. I just don't think that anybody needs to work out if they're happy where they are. Everybody should just do what makes them happy, and that's it. I appreciate all the love and support I've received. You guys have been amazing, and you really made me want to continue doing this for the long haul. I want to, more than anything, reduce the stigma people have that only the elite can get into great shape and that I could never because X, Y, and Z. There's no reason why you can't. Anybody can. If you don't want to, that's fine. That's completely okay. But know that you're able if you want to. As a trainer, nutrition coach who knows the science, I am scientifically commanding that you understand that you can if you want. And if you have a goal, there's no better day to start training than today.